Hi, and welcome back to Healing, the Healing You Method. Remember what I call this podcast. I'm Gloria Lightbecker, and I'm here with my good friend Gail Donahue. We were talking about how to begin to venture into this landscape of our lives where we begin to recognize and become more and more consciously aware of the patterns we may be running in our life. And I thought it might be fun to share a little story around what that's been like for me. Um, and there's been different increments of this experience, but I remember the very first experience I had was back when I was learning, just getting to, I was getting ready to get to go to a family camp for nonviolent communication. And I was talking with a woman who was an organizer and helping me figure out how I could even make this be possible. And as I was telling her some of my fears, and I was really feeling vulnerable. I remember I was leaning forward and I had the phone up by my head, and I didn't have a cell phone back then. I was holding the phone up by my head and I was looking down at the floor, and I was not really looking at the floor, but I was really concentrating on explaining how it was to be me. And when she spoke back to me, she did something that felt totally magic. It was just
Mm.
magic. She resonated with my felt sense experience. And it was the feeling felt experience I'd never had ever. I mean, this woman got me. She understood exactly how it felt in that moment to be me. And in that moment, it felt as if something within me kind of relaxed and maybe even kind of thawed out a little bit that I didn't even realize had been holding it so tight or rigidly. And that was the beginning of enormous change in my life. I'm like, what in the heck just happened? I want to learn how to have conversations like this. And so for any of our listeners that are wanting to develop these skill sets, if there's a practitioner of nonviolent communication in your area, you might check them out because they're a great way to start to develop these skill sets and to start to learn how to have a structure for conversations. Um, yeah, and I wonder, have you had a similar experience?
Yes, absolutely. Yes. And it hasn't ended. Like
No.
it- if like it that feeling of being felt and that somebody really like gets you and they understand and they're with you
Mhm.
instead of distancing or just being with themselves or thinking about themselves or what they've got planned or what they believe in or what they're thinking or what they're doing. That sense of being got, it has a special quality of it that doesn't disappear. It just keeps coming back. It's quite a beautiful feeling, and it certainly calms my nervous system a lot.
Yeah, that feeling felt, that's the experience why I love horses so much. That's the experience I've had since childhood with my horse. And I just hadn't experienced it with a human being because I
Mm,
experience human beings as pretty darn dangerous animals.
yeah.
And and so predators actually. And
Mm,
so it's not true. They're not all that way. And I do believe that just like animals, when there is a person that's showing up as a predator, it's my experience that they just haven't been met in this way.
mhm.
Humans are met in this way with what exactly it's like to be them in the moment, the magic happens. And
Yes.
that resonance is such a key piece. And also the way the resonance is more than just the words you say, it's the way you say it, which is your full sense of self, your whole body, mind, spirit, all of you, whole. That when that's met by someone who is in that place of presence, which is wholeness, it invites us to begin to step in and to experience what that's like. And I personally have required years of that to get where I am today because I had quite severe trauma in my youth.
Mhm.
And but it's possible because for me to be where I am today, it's like, wow, then this is possible for anybody. And I am really passionate about supporting people to find their path to experience this in their life. How about you?
Yes, well, as for me as well, passionate about supporting people to find their purpose, where they want to be, and have a more uh, pleasant time in their interactions with people and learning about themselves. It's something that I really enjoy and am passionate. It fuels me and gives me energy. So I guess it's why we share this in common, Gloria. It's so
It's true.
to be here talking with you about this.
Well, and even with that, it's like I can see how my own growth and development that I've my I don't know, my mission, my delight is my edge is to actually have this experience that I'm stimulated and I can tell it's my stuff that's coming up because whenever we are stimulated, it is our stuff coming up. We might project that it's somebody else's. It's honestly our own stuff and the way that we are perceiving that moment in time. And so when my stuff's coming up, I am now excited and filled with dread at the same time that it's coming up to practice recognizing it, acknowledging it, and stepping into my truth, the circle of truth. And this can happen. At first, it took me some time because I needed to really take time with it and slow time way down. And that's when I would reach out and I'd have a coach hold space for me, or a friend hold space for me in order to really slow down the practice to know it, for it to become more familiar to me and accessible in those moments when I would flip my lid. And then after I've acknowledged the truth, I can actually slow down and step into what I actually love, which may have absolutely nothing to do with what I just got triggered by.
Mm, yeah.
Because many times in our humanness, we will think, oh, I don't like that, so I want the opposite. That's not necessarily true. And I'd like to explore that a little bit more deeply another time. But to be able to step into what you love, it allows the wisdom of your spirit to come up inside that'll
Mhm.
reveal to you this action you can take, even though there's all this angst that's running. That the angst or the emotion or the thoughts don't control your behavior anymore. You can use your will to come back and be in choice. And that is the new muscle that I am getting to experience on different levels that's actually, I'm like, whoa, okay, I'm on ready for the ride. And it's kind of a roller coaster at time to time, but it's a thrill at the same time. I take the fear and the nervousness and I channel it into the excitement that leads to joy. And that's a rich ride.
It's a fun ride, that's for sure.
Well, thanks. I look forward to, I don't know, I want to get to go into and explore maybe the different kinds of visions we can have for our life. That'd be a really tantalizing conversation as well.
It would be.
Thanks, Gail.
Thank you.